Welcome, everybody. It's another episode of the Steve and Steve podcast coming to you from the greater Chicago metropolitan area. Um, I'm Steve Jensen. That's Steve Silver. Good morning,
Everybody.
sir.
Morning. What?
Oh, well, it's been a couple weeks since we last talked, and obviously 27 years of political history has expired since then. It's like
Yeah.
every 10 minutes something else happens, and I guess the biggest thing we're coming in on is the murder of Renee.
Yeah.
um and it's been talked about ad nauseum already how the Trump administration and the Fox News sphere was like immediately, oh, domestic terrorist, all
Yep.
this vitriol.
Yeah.
And I think a majority of America now, whether it's the next Charlie Kirk shooting or the next, ICE goon shooting somebody, everybody, I think, on our side of the political spectrum takes a back seat and says, I'm going to wait maybe a day. I'm not going to go
Yeah.
right to social media and put up this
Right.
defense. And um, I certainly when they shot her and I saw the video, the first time I saw the video, didn't take that much to explain what happened.
Right. It was a coward with a gun shot a woman in the face because she dared to say no.
Yeah,
He was in no danger whatsoever. They'll never say it. You know, it's the fucking Orwellian meme that goes around. They told you to not believe your eyes. They told you not to believe what you hear and what you see.
obey or die,
Obey
right?
or die. And they are building towards that, and they will not stop that narrative. And the vice president of the United States, who is a Chihuahua but thinks he's a pit bull, goes out and starts telling people this. The part that cracks me up about that is he's the goon for the goon, right? Donald Trump is the head goon, and he sends out this other goon to say stuff that he won't say, which is pretty telling.
Right.
And all it does is diminish his chances of ever holding public office or being taken seriously by a Republican again. Why he was in the first place, I don't know. But he makes it look worse for himself. Time will
Yeah.
definitely close the gap on that guy. But yeah, this whole she was a terrorist, she was following him around, she was doing this, you know. And then the guy here, this is how bad this situation is. The guy felt so sure that he was going to be in the right and everyone was just going to believe what the MAGAs were saying that he released his own cell phone video
Right. That was,
showing that she said,
yeah.
I'm not mad at you, but dude,
Yeah.
I'm leaving.
Yep.
And then
She
he
wasn't
switched,
like, I'm gonna run you over, motherfucker.
right.
There was none of that. And
And
this this
somebody,
this guy's toast the rest of his life. He's
guy's
toast.
toast. Also, two things. The part where somebody posted this and I didn't think about it until I watched it again. His camera on his phone, it's not the part where he's gonna. The part that's fucking scariest is at one point he changes hands and he drops the fuck. He puts the phone down so you just see the
Yeah.
ground for a second before he lifts it up again. He changed hands so he could grab his gun.
Yeah.
So watch that in real time
Yeah.
when that nice woman is just saying, "Okay, I'm leaving, dude." He's already
That's a case for premeditated murder.
hand on gun.
Yeah.
And the other thing that really drives me nuts is nobody is reporting that ICE and DHS went to the guy's house and emptied it out. And everybody's like, oh, they're emptying out all this could be possible evidence, right? It's like, no, they helped him move.
Cleanup job. No,
They
it's a
helped
cleanup
him
job.
move.
Yeah.
He's there with a mask on, taking stuff out. They
Yeah.
loaded it in a truck and he disappeared.
Yeah.
And, you know,
We're
we're
gonna
just
put you
gonna
in a
let it
safe
happen.
house.
Yeah.
There's no other than if the guy had, hoods and swastikas stapled to the wall in his home office.
Which
You
might
know,
be.
I viewed it
But
as
yeah,
a domicile cleansing maneuver. But
yeah.
you're right. They probably moved him into a safe house,
Oh
and
yeah, he's gone. He's disappeared, and they're never gonna.
he'll be.
And
I mean,
they're
he'll be
not.
back. I mean,
He'll be back at some point.
he can't disappear forever.
No.
But he's the new Kyle Rittenhouse, basically, in
Yeah.
terms of like can't go to the grocery store. Like he
Right.
knows no peace. He will know no peace.
No. And nor should he
Yeah,
ever again.
yeah. I was pleased to see that um, Renee's wife uh, and a friend, well, the friend of the wife set up a GoFundMe.
Right.
The initial ask was 50K. It maxed out at 1.5 million, and then the two of them shut it off, saying, "Hey, thank you. We don't need any more." And I saw a lot of memes about that, especially on Reddit, about how if this were Erica Kirk or anybody else on the right, they would have let the grift that, let's make
Would have
money
left
off
it
of this.
going. Would have played it.
And,
Yeah.
there's children involved that are parentless now.
Right.
And, there's probably going to be litigation and some kind of civil lawsuit.
Sure.
And by the way, hello, pro bono law firms out there. If you're listening, provide this woman's estate and her family free, legal
Yeah.
services and sue the living shit out of that guy personally, his supervisor, everybody up the flagpole. Sue.
Everybody.
That's the only way you can really affect change in this culture.
Yeah.
When you're
Tort
dealing with the
reform.
powerful or the violent, is to take away their power, and it
Excuse me.
starts with taking away their money.
That's it.
Um, And man, this is when I wish that I was of Elon Musk's means, being a trillionaire on
Right.
paper. But I wish I could hand this woman and her future lawyer $50 million to spend on a legal team and on a prosecution and take this guy to criminal court first, but ultimately civil court and take
Yeah.
away everything he's ever had.
Everything's ever
Um,
gonna have. Yeah.
Yeah, and in the irony department, he's married to a Filipina.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, like somebody said, somebody posted, and again, I hate to just pass memes along as truth, but like my old ethics professor in college said, truisms are truisms because they're true, right?
Yeah,
Someone posted his Filipino wife, look at JD Vance's wife, and that is the physical embodiment of why you're not allowed to say racist stuff and then say, hey, but some of my best friends are black.
right.
Because nobody believes that that's not a defense. Hey, my wife's
So,
Filipina. I'm not a racist. You're full of
so in
shit,
both
dude.
cases, with this Jonathan Ross murderer, and JD Vance, both marrying outside their culture, and obviously their wives, were immigrants to this country at some point. I don't know
Yeah,
if Mrs. Vance.
she was.
Okay.
Yes.
Um, but which is the genuine article? Is the genuine article the aware and compassionate person that fell in love with somebody from a different culture and married them? Or is the real person the person as, a murdering ICE goon or a horribly corrupt vice president that
Right.
the guy called Trump Hitler, but then sold his soul to be the
Right.
VP nominee, and now he's the mouthpiece. Who are the real people here?
Right.
Because one of those scenarios, the home life or the job life, is an act.
Right. Well, I will say this. You are also married, so this will ring to both of you. 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, God, it seems like 10 years ago now, when JD Vance got up at the convention, the CPAC or whatever, and said, well, I basically said, and it's out there, you can see it. I I hope that my non-white wife comes around to becoming a white, to becoming a Catholic, and doing all the things that I expect a white woman to do, basically, right? If I got up at a bar and said one, if I said I didn't like the shoes my wife was wearing at a bar, if I was at Livewire and just went, yeah, I don't care for those shoes, I'd be fucking divorced so fast it wouldn't be funny. Who gets up and says, I wish my wife was white. I wish my wife had the same faith I have.
Mm,
Oh, it's horrible. And the kids we have. It's like, what? That is
yeah,
soulless on so many levels. And you are right. Which guy is it? I'm here to tell you it's the guy we see
yeah,
because there is no way that you can fake that amount of hatred. You can fake kindness, but you can't fucking fake
So,
hatred like that.
so newsflash to Mrs. Vance and Mrs. Ross, you're living a lie, and
Yeah.
he's inside the house, as they say.
The
By the
phone,
way,
the hatred's coming from inside the house.
I'm still
Absolutely.
celebrating last night's Bears game,
I know
so
you are. Whatever.
I
Fuck you. It's fine.
I need a few drags off my stogie. Um, and then the other thing blowing up right here in our rear view mirror is all of this Greenland agita. And
Unbelievable.
um, as a
Yeah.
person of Danish Norwegian descent, I am number one horrified. But I've been saying this for the last 10 years that Donald Trump is a Russian agent. And it doesn't
Yep.
mean, he carries a badge and is on a
Right.
payroll. It means he's acting in the best interests of Vladimir Putin, who has sworn, I'm pretty convinced Vladimir Putin has sworn that he wants to exact revenge for the fall of the USSR, and he wants to
Absolutely.
be the guy to do it.
Yep.
And guess what? Donald Trump in buying Greenland, and if they don't want to sell it to me, military action's not off the table.
Right. It's just
Dissolves NATO.
as a pause, just in between this, if you ever want to tell me again that the man's not a rapist, I refer you to this line. We can do this the easy way, or we
Right.
can do this the hard way
Yeah.
to an entire fucking sovereign nation.
Yeah.
Okay, go back. Sorry.
And he probably said that backstage at the Miss Universe contest or
Absolutely. I bet
whatever.
you Eugene Carroll's got something to say about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've heard that phrase before.
right.
Um, you know, so
He wants Greenland for Russia. There's no doubt about it. He's a Russian agent in one way. Everybody, like you're saying, he's not a badge carrying guy. He's not fucking moose and squirrel, right?
right.
Here's what he is: a fucking greedy motherfucker. And before he even started running, when his son said, "We don't ever have to go to an American bank again for the rest of our lives. We have unlimited money from Russia."
Yeah. And
Think about that. And then he's
hi-
going to run for president. Russia Gate is real. It's not fake.
yep.
Jack Smith says there's plenty of. This is all at the behest of our. And here comes the thing. I don't think Donald Trump thinks of himself as a traitor. He just thinks of himself as a good businessman. And the guy who's giving him all this money just happens to be Russian. And he just wants to do, because Donald Trump doesn't care about any conventions. He doesn't
No.
care about how things should be. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter to him. What matters is the dollars in his pocket. And the Russian guy can give him more than anyone else can. And the Russian guy can teach him in his first term then to this term how to steal as much as he can, which is all Doge is, and which is what a bunch of this other stuff is. It's just him pocketing the money,
That's
or
how
I
history's
should
going
say
to
his
remember him.
friends
Yeah.
pocketing the money,
Yeah.
right? And if
Yeah.
you
I
just
mean,
toss the
w-
money around enough, everybody will say, okay,
when Putin and the KGB, or the modern version of the KGB, but it is what it is. They are the
it's a
KGB.
KGB. Yeah,
Um, when they found out that he was easily swayable, but like, AKA stroke his ego, he'll do whatever you want.
100%.
Give him a trophy, you'll get whatever. Give him a couple mil, he'll do whatever you want.
Switzerland, give him a Rolex watch and a gold ingot, and the 70% tariffs come off the next
Yeah.
day.
And so, obviously, Putin's goal has always been, well, at least the last 10 years, dissolve NATO, cause NATO to implode. And now Trump the stooge is there. And my guess is that he owes so much money in defaulted loans to Russia.
Yeah.
And I consider Vladimir Putin the head of the Russian banking system.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
That's where he's getting his grift and his skim.
Yeah.
He is so in debt to Russia and Putin that Putin basically says in their private meetings that aren't recorded or documented, it's just two of them in a room.
No interpreter. Yeah.
And Putin does speak perfect English.
Yes, he
It
does.
doesn't sound like you and me, but Trump doesn't know a lick of Russian, but Putin definitely can speak English with him. And they have said, look, you owe us this amount of money. I want you to push, you should annex Greenland, which, by the way, 99% covered by glacier. So good luck drilling through that. But
I think he thinks it's Iceland, but that's okay.
Yeah, and it's not about the land or we there's excuses being made like we need Greenland for the strategery, right, of
Right.
being able to defend against Russia. And that's all feigned. It's all BS. It's made up. It's the typical smoke and mirrors. The real issue is I'm I'm so in debt to you, Vladimir, and you're asking me to do this because the chess move is if you do that, NATO will throw their hands up and they'll dissolve and then
Right.
basically hand me a win.
Right.
And the next country is going to be Poland
It sure
after
is.
Ukraine.
Also, keep in mind that the United States has an agreement with Greenland that pretty much verbatim says all lands, all waterways, all resources are available to the United States government.
Right.
We already
We
have
we already
that.
have a base there,
We have
right?
a
Yeah.
base there, and we're
Yeah.
allowed unlimited access to any
Yeah.
place we need.
Yeah. Yeah. So
There's not another
the
country like that.
taking it over is not a it doesn't give us a mineral
It
or a
only
military
it's
advantage.
only for Putin. It's not
Yeah,
for anything else, and
exactly.
it's the first domino in NATO, which is also why we don't help Ukraine. It's why he keeps stringing this along, hoping that Putin will win. But from what I understand, there may be a little bit of a cash shortage as far as fighting that war goes. If NATO steps up and if Europe steps up individually, that could definitely go the way Putin doesn't want it to go, and I hope that it
Yeah.
does. But literally, we could end that war tomorrow, and we should because we're the biggest fucking bully in the universe by just giving Ukraine everything they fucking need to spend a week bombing the fucking place. And it's
Well,
done.
one of the biggest mistakes of the illegal Russian invasion of sovereign Ukraine, one of the biggest mistakes tactically that the U.S. made was taking a back seat to the whole thing. We're not going to use U.S. planes. We're just
Yeah.
going to give them bombs.
Didn't work in World War
We're going to
II. Why would we
piecemeal it
do that?
because we're
Yeah.
so afraid of Russia. And I have been beating this drum for 40 years. Russia is a paper tiger.
Yep.
And if obviously they don't have an aircraft carrier anymore. They've lost 10 frigates, 3 destroyers, this, that, and the other, right? Like, if you think they have working fissile ready nuclear ICBMs that
Right.
are ready to go, you are kidding yourself.
They're
Tho-
pocketing that money. They're not building a military.
And they're not keeping up. Cruise missiles sitting in silos need regular maintenance. You got to wipe them down. You got to get the WD-40 on and get the rust off, et
Right.
cetera, et cetera. These things have been sitting there since the late 60s, early 70s. Russia and the former USSR has not built new nuclear ICBMs in 30 years.
Right.
So the ones that they have require, right? And so call their bluff. And I wish Biden would have stepped it up
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
given it's called closing the skies over the Ukraine
Yep.
because from a defensive posture where you don't want to put boots on the ground, closing the skies is the most effective way that we can help
It is.
Ukraine survive.
And it stops them going past Ukraine,
Yeah,
which is the rationale for doing it. It's why we should just give them F-35s and bombs
yeah,
and
yeah,
tomahawks and everything else they fucking want,
yeah,
because we're protecting Poland and Russia, Poland and Germany and everybody else. Because I'm here to tell you, he's not going to win, but he's going to try,
yeah,
right? He's gonna, and if he takes Ukraine, he's just going to keep going. And
yeah,
then this idiot, our idiot, is going to say, well, that was also part of Russia at one point. Just like they used
yeah,
to say, well, Poland was part of Germany, so we can't be that upset that he invaded.
yeah. Well,
Yeah,
guess what? North America was the Ojibwe and the Sioux.
right.
And just because we've been here for, 250, 300 years doesn't,
Exactly,
we can
exactly.
use the same argument. His arguments don't hold water.
No,
But
that's just
what,
for his base. Yeah.
yeah, but what I'm really pissed at is the American media of all flavors
Fuck, man.
are asleep at the wheel at this, like Bill Maher has said over and over again, a slow coup. Okay. And
Right,
they're not seeing all the pieces falling together. And they're like, oh, Greenland, he's just joking. Uh, All the media, they're not dialed in on this conversation about this is Putin telling him
right,
you should take Greenland because you owe us money. And,
right.
I'm sure Trump is too dumb to understand that if he did take Greenland, here's the rubber band effect is NATO is dissolved. And I actually think that Stephen Miller and Trump don't want NATO to exist, not
No.
only because of what is owed to Putin and the Russian banks, but also under this false ideology of American exceptionalism. Like, we
Yes.
don't need to be in this group. We got our own thing. And it's
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
they
Well,
don't
you
understand
saw
partnerships, you know?
they don't. They don't care, and they think that they don't need them, and they're wrong. And that's yeah. The media in this country has pissed me off so much. I mean, CBS done, right? New York Times pretty much done. And Jake Tapper with, Trump invades Venezuela. Why this is bad for Joe Biden, who's no longer president. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, fuck, man. You got. We talked about it a little bit earlier. You're giving the the selfish child a shiny toy to get on his good side. The media is not a shiny toy. The
Yeah,
media is the fourth estate. It's here to protect us. It's here to tell the truth. And unfortunately, when Bezos buys, a newspaper and he just decides that it's more important that he gets good tax benefits for Amazon, he's not going to write a story that's critical of the president of the United States. He
right,
shouldn't own a fucking newspaper, right? He just shouldn't. No, nobody who has a vested interest in what the president says that can their $15 billion industry shouldn't have a paper. Or you could buy it and just let people run it, but you didn't. You wouldn't even endorse Kamala for
yeah,
fucking president.
yeah,
Well, we don't have to do that every year. Well, you're part of the fascist light regime that we have going on right
yeah,
now. And by the way, people, if you think fascism is coming, you're wrong. It's already here.
yeah.
What we're talking about is fascism. People want to say, "Oh, you can't call everybody a Nazi," and you can't. You know
Oh,
what?
yeah, you
I've been,
can.
yeah, you can. I've been fighting Nazis since I was fucking 17 years old. I learned it from my grandfather, who left Germany to stop from them taking over. He fled Germany with his family, and he gave away his fucking pass to the kid down the street before, and then he had to walk while the rest of his family came to America. He walked to a neutral country and got here,
Mm,
right? But he gave up his papers to a guy he knew was going to be sent to a concentration camp because he was a homosexual and Jewish. And
mm,
my grandfather said to me to the day he fucking died, "Don't ever let a German tell you we didn't know what was going on because we all fucking knew,
right,
all of us."
right. The Nuremberg defense. We're
Yeah.
just following orders.
So, I mean, you can say that we're overreacting. But you and I are just a very small set of voices in the wild, right? But no one is telling the story. I'm here to tell you the fascism is here. It
Yeah,
happens to be, it's like the Jimmy Breslin book, the gang that couldn't shoot straight. They're bad at it, but they're getting it done. The thing that's so sad is that they're bad at it, and like we're saying, the media's letting it happen. There's no pushback. Every single bit of pushback seems to be fringe. It's not fringe. The America I grew up in would never let this fucking guy take
yeah,
power.
yeah,
They would never let Stephen Miller run everything. But here we
yeah.
are.
I was troubled to see, I watch all three nightly national newscasts.
Sure, I do too.
And I record them and I watch them, and
Same.
I was sad to see Tony DeCopel, who
Ugh,
I'd watched in the morning show, be kind of, and he's married to Katie Tour, and
yeah,
he's an East Coast liberal, but I was
not
shocked to see
anymore.
him throw a love out to Marco Rubio and all this weird stuff that really doesn't
Yeah.
belong on a national newscast.
It's
Um,
fair. It's again, it's give the
yeah,
dictator who's can't
yeah,
think
stroke
straight
their
a
ego.
fucking shiny prize.
Yeah, yeah, and I would expect that the minute the cult is over, which can happen at any minute, I would say when that thing happens, that one day where we wake up to that news,
Right. We
I
call
would
off because we're all gonna party. Yeah.
I'd give it 30 days. You know how you take a steak off the grill and you got to let it rest for a
Yeah.
while, or you take a
Yeah.
turkey out of the oven? It'll take about 30 days ex post facto after the event for the following things to happen. You're going to see uh, an Iraqi liberation moment where people take to the streets and want to look for something to tear down, like they did in Iraq with the statue of
Right.
Saddam, right? You're going to see that in signage, and you're going to see people like Larry Ellison and his ilk and the Peter Thiels, well, especially this CBS, you know, Skydance thing.
Right.
You're going to see this corporate thing. You're going to see them shed CBS,
Yeah.
who's already losing advertisers, by the way,
Right.
right? Because when the ratings go down and nobody wants to watch state-run news, and because Fox News will always have, Herbalife commercials and supplements
My
and
pillow
buy
guy.
gold now, all this cheap stuff. But the
Right.
major networks have top tier advertisers, your cars, your beverages, your Coca-Colas, your
Yeah.
Chevys. When
Beer.
the and
Whatever.
when the
Yeah.
when the ratings go down, the advertisers pull out, and that's going to be one of the things that I look forward to, because I really used to respect CBS News, and I respect a lot
Me
of the,
too.
I don't respect Barry Weiss
No.
and David Ellison. I think it's David,
Yeah.
I, but everybody underneath who's been there, all the career folks, hello 60 Minutes crew,
Right.
um, are doing the good work. And if they haven't quit by now, and there's been no high profile news of anchors
I
quitting,
haven't seen
or
anything. Yeah.
but maybe they're holding on because they know what I know, that that magical morning news will come one day, and then we have a 30-day kind of cooling off where, you know, and then I was in a conversation 2 days ago in a political meeting group that I partake in, and one of the participants is a congressman from Illinois, and I said to him point blank, I said, the Dems, when they take over and are in power, in a position to actually stall things, and majority in the House starts
Right.
there, blah blah blah. I said, you guys cannot be like Ford was when he filled in for Nixon and said, "No, I'm not, we're gonna
Right.
pardon him and we're gonna move on to the future. It's all about me and the future and the party and the
Yeah.
country." And a lot of people said, "Yeah, he's probably right." Back then, they're like,
Back
"Yeah,
then.
let's move on."
Right.
Today, we cannot do that, because that was just a criminal offense back in the Nixon incident,
Right.
the Watergate. This is an assault on democracy. This is a
Absolutely.
thousand times bigger than that. And there will be no pardons. There will be no, there must be Nuremberg level investigations,
A hundred
trials,
percent.
cameras. People need to be, and people need to be hauled in front of justice. And
Exactly.
I said that's how you're going to win the 2028 presidential election. The primary winning candidate, when it's one on one with the Republican candidate, needs to say, when we win, we are putting all of you in jail for the following crimes. This isn't just rhetoric like Trump, lock Hillary up. It's not a
Right.
tagline. And here's the evidence. And by the way, we're going to put Jack Smith front and center, because he's dialed in on every page of that
Yeah. Yeah.
story.
Yep. They need to be arrested and hung. Listen, worst thing, the dumbest thing we ever did was let Confederates go back home and
Yeah.
tend their farm.
Lack of punishment.
Just, you know,
Mm.
you can say what you want about Italian shoes and Italian motorcycles, but there's not anybody in the Mussolini family who's ever tried to be a dictator again. Because once you hang somebody upside down, set them on fire, and piss on a dead body, they pretty much stop being dictators.
And while Mr. Silver here and I practice as much pacifism as we can, we also realize that sometimes fascists and Nazis need to be hit over the head with a folding chair.
A
Um,
thousand percent.
if
I will
that
go
if
ahead.
that's what you want to do, we're
Well,
not
it is what you
telling
want
you
to
to
do.
go do it.
Listen,
Yeah.
I have been very fortunate to have a very varied and colorful life. I think we can agree on that. And if you
Mm.
don't know who I am, that's okay. If you're just a friend
Read
of
the book.
Steve, read the book, listen, come to one of my shows, hear my stories. At one point, at one point in my life, I stood on a plot of sand with a bunch of people who were terrified that they were going to be raped, dismembered, murdered, tortured, everything that you can possibly think of. I just happened to be standing there when was colloquially known as the Blue Berets and the French Foreign Legion came to town that minute. And these people were like, the Blue Berets, they're going to feed us, they're going to help us. Those guys are going to kill everybody who terrifies us. And that's what fucking happened.
What year
Listen,
is this?
oh fuck, dude, 79, 80, so I was in the Peace Corps, which at the time was, not as innocent as I thought it was when I joined. So here's the thing. Uh, we can complain about fascism, we can complain about the guy in charge, and it's bad, right? But until you've literally had a boot on your neck,
Yeah.
you don't get to judge the level of violence that it takes to take the boot off your neck.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I hope for, like Huey said when he was running the Panthers, I pray for peace every day. I sit and I write poetry to try to affect change in this world. But I have seen humans and how they treat my fellow man. So while I write poetry, I collect bullets. And it's as simple
Yep.
as that,
Yep.
right?
Yep. Yep.
I,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I
Uh,
mean, but yes, we would
and
very much like it to be nice
yeah.
and
Well,
orderly and polite. Uh-oh.
we're the what I always say is we're the good guys until it's time to be the bad guys. Uh,
100%.
and now we're in the Venezuelan oil business.
We are. Isn't that neat?
Yeah. And can
Yeah.
you can you imagine if the black guy president sat
Be
down with 20 oil magnates and said, "We're going to give you taxpayer funded this, that, and the other." Oh my God.
on television. We
Yeah,
give it to you.
live. Yeah.
And can you imagine if that same black guy in a tan suit, let's just say, got up in the middle of that meeting on live television, walked to the window, and acted like it was the first fucking time he'd seen the backyard of the house he's been living in for 8 years?
Yeah.
Did you see that part?
Meanwhile, it was an open
What?
pit construction site. He's like, "Look at
Yeah.
that. It's so
And he's
great."
built himself a bunker. But the great part is, in true Trump fashion, he refused to pay the guys, and now there's no one. The works, the work hasn't moved ahead in like 3 weeks, right?
Yep, more than
Nothing's
that.
happened.
More than that. And
That
and he
cracks me
and he
up.
had a row with the original architect
The
guy,
architect's
and
like this doesn't work,
he's like walked away. So
But
let's
yeah,
tear
so
it
we're
all
in the
down.
Venezuelan oil business now.
Yeah.
We're
Well,
we're empire building supposedly. We're doing this, and he's going to be in charge of the money,
yeah.
which he said. And the only thing he uses to give anybody any information, which is social media.
Yeah.
I am going to be in charge of between 30 and 15 million dollars a week or a day, whatever. I'm going to run that. Me, not
And
not the government. Me. I am
well,
the government. I
the
am the
the good
law.
news is the good news is when he said we're going to run Venezuela, I instantly knew that this was traditional, usual Trump bloviating bullshit.
Yeah, I knew. Yeah.
Because if you remember Paul Bremer firing the Iraqi military and all the
Yes.
police in Baghdad and Tikrit, you're all fired,
Yeah.
and those guys were just looking for a paycheck. Had we just paid
Right.
them, continued their paychecks, they'd have been our greatest allies, that force.
Right. Just
And the
pay.
same thing goes with Venezuela.
Right.
You
Uh,
can't just say you're taking over when you really haven't, because
right.
guess what? Okay, put 30,000 troops on the ground in Venezuela to control ports, airports, whatever,
Right.
to fully seize control of a country is not something you can just say on TV.
Right.
It's like the guy that, you're bouncing at exit and the guy walks up to you and he's drunk and he got thrown out by you and he comes back and he's like, uh, I'm gonna fucking kill you, man. And you're
Yeah.
like, yeah, go ahead. Because
Right.
there's no coming back from that. When you say that, when you pull a gun and point it at somebody and say, I'm going to kill you if you don't leave me, it's like the next step is usually somebody pulling the trigger. And so Trump has painted himself into a corner, as usual. I'm not shocked. and
Right.
there will never be an invasion force on the ground in Venezuela, so that's
No.
never going to manifest itself. But he's also at war with Maria because she won't willingly give him and her Nobel Prize, and not only it's not transferable. And
Right.
the
The
Nobel
Nobel
Committee had to
Committee
say that
came
they
out,
had to
had to
put out
say
a
it.
statement
That's
that
what we're
even if she did,
that's how far this country sunk.
and
Yes.
here's the best part. When somebody pats Steve Silver on the back and says, "Hey man, on this thing you did a good job. Here's a pin for your jacket or a medal.
Right.
You earned it." You know, that's great. But when you constantly run around going, "I want my medal," and then
Right.
somebody gives you their medal because you were not first in the race,
Shut up. Yeah. To
Trump,
shut you up. Yeah.
if she did that, if she gave Trump her Nobel Prize physical medal and handed it to him, he would then go, in his own warped mind, go, "I just won the Nobel
A
Prize."
thousand percent. There would be no difference between getting it legit and someone just handing it to him.
By any means necessary, and he
I
put it
got
on his
it.
trophy case. I got it, and that's the max prize he's been looking for so long
It's
because the
crazy.
black guy before him got
Got
one.
it. And that's the
And
only reason.
and
And he thought
viewers
he
out
should
there,
have
you
it.
may agree or disagree with the where, why, and how Barack Obama was afforded a Nobel Peace Prize.
Right.
I think that's a topic for a whole nother conversation. I don't
It
have a
is.
problem with it.
Me
It
either.
didn't cost me any money, and I don't sit on the Nobel committee. But
The Nobel Committee is not only tasked with rewarding literature, arts, politics, whatever,
sciences,
right?
yeah.
It is also taxed as a part of its charter. By the way, from the guy who invented fucking dynamite,
Hmm.
um, it is tasked with creating hope. The
Yeah,
end.
yeah,
That's one of the phrases.
yeah.
It's so Obama, little preemptive, more than
But
likely. Don't care.
he is an agent of hope.
Agent of hope, agent of change. I don't care what anybody fucking says. You can hate
Yeah,
the tan suit. You can hate whatever. Oh, he deported more people than Trump. Sure did. Gave every single fucking one of them due process. And that's all I care about.
yeah,
I don't care about the deport. I mean, I do care about the deportations, but the argument isn't there shouldn't be deportations, which in my, by the way, just so you know, Mr. fucking, I'm all for violence from time to time. So in case you're worried about that, the flip side of that is if you can get here, you should be able to fucking stay here. I don't care. I don't give a shit. You know how I got here? I got here because my grandfather in Ireland tried to overthrow the fucking government at the fucking post office and they were going to hang him. And they said to guys, you can go join the Canadian Army, you can go to Australia, or we'll hang you. And my grandfather said, I'll go in the Canadian Army because World War One's fucking starting, right? I got here on murder and mayhem. Fucking period. I don't want to hear anyone's fucking argument about how people that get here shouldn't be allowed to be here.
yeah,
Are there bad actors? Sure, there are. My grandfather, fuck, he probably belongs in jail more than anybody else, any Mexican that's coming over here to make a good life for themselves.
yeah.
You know,
I
Samuel Matthews probably should have been in fucking Cook County for a long fucking time, right? But here we are.
yeah,
And so good or bad, but it's all Obama did this worse, you know. Stop. Just fucking stop.
yeah,
First of all, he hasn't been the president in how many years? Just stop. It's just like with the Biden thing.
yeah,
Stop. They
yeah,
both have more humanity than you'll ever have. And it's your guy now. So let's talk about what's happening now. And what's happening now is murder and mayhem and you know, but you know the thing that I don't listen to NPR as much as I used to because they, you know, I am the crotchety old fucking progressive. But the other day, yesterday, on my way to work, my way home, I was on my way home from work. They were interviewing somebody, and he said something. Psychiatrist, psychologist, said something very interesting. He's like, it's not just dementia with this guy. It's probably, he goes, I hate to say it because I haven't, you know, examined the man and I have no access to his records. But I will tell you this, there is a symptomatic thing that happens with people with dementia, early onset dementia, or Alzheimer's, and advanced syphilis.
right. I've
And
heard
it
that
goes
before.
like this. You get stuck in a frame you can never get out of. And the interviewer said, well, he's all over the place. And he's like, no, he's not. Venezuela is a very good fucking point. Venezuela has some of the richest heavy metals in the world, right? We're not even talking about that. We're talking about oil. You know why? Because in Donald Trump's world, it's 1979, and oil is the most precious
Right.
commodity there is. This is why he dances to the village people. This is why he references all the stuff from that time. He still believes somewhere in his head that the world is the village people and oil is more than,
Yeah.
lithium.
Even
Eh, eh,
Michael Wolff, the guy that wrote the bio on him, I don't know much about Michael Wolff, but he has said numerous times Trump is stuck in the 80s.
Yeah, he is.
His ideology, his worldview, you know.
Everything.
Yeah.
And you know how and then one of the things that I think kind of backs that up is back in the 80s, he was kind of a Democrat, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
He hasn't changed, but
Yeah.
the Democrat and Republican things
East
have
Coast
changed.
liberal.
And he's not going to be liberal anymore. Now he's going to be the neocon. And
Mm.
that's from that time. And it's where Bill and Hillary kind of got the bad rap too. Also from what? The fucking 80s. So yeah, I mean, there is no way that anyone can ever tell me anything redeeming about this man or his enablers. And by enablers, I mean his cabinet, his anyone who works for him or anyone who's okay with
Yeah.
him. And that's the Washington Post, the New York Times,
Yep.
CBS, and all the rest. It's
And
down to the people with the Trump flags.
here's the
They're
way this is
all
going, right? They tried to prop up Charlie Kirk and Tucker Carlson as the future of the party,
I,
and that went Tucker Carlson is in a downward spiral, and his
yeah,
lack of access to major media curtails his voice, thankfully.
thankfully.
But
Yeah.
what you're going to see, I think, in the next 10 years is the Republicans' power structure at the top is looking to create a dynasty,
Yeah.
and they don't know, like, it was supposed to be Charlie Kirk, and then they're going to have to go with Vance in 28, and
Yeah, which is
they
suicide.
but
Great.
you're seeing 17 House Republicans just crossed over,
Yeah.
thankfully for Americans, for us,
Right.
and
Doing their job.
expanded the ACA tax credits for 3 years, and
2 years ago, they never would have done that.
nobody's afraid of the dictator anymore. At least a
Right.
lot of people are gaining their independence
Right.
because they
And like I
realize
said
it's
before,
going to
like
end.
in Indiana, same thing. We're not gonna gerrymander the we're not gonna
Yeah,
vote yes on changing the districts because we just don't believe. And he's like, I will primary all of you in 2 years. And they're all basically like, dude, you're gonna be out of power in 2 years. We don't
yep,
care. We
yep.
need to keep our jobs, right? I mean, we'll see what the Senate does, but I believe the Senate will be okay. I really do. But um, you know, Marjorie Taylor Greene, see ya. Lauren Boebert, now you don't even hear about her anymore.
Yeah,
And this other guy, sadly the one guy who died, although not that sad because he really hated gay people and the LGBT community and thought black people shouldn't vote. So I'm not that sad he's dead. But they are losing some of their members. It's either through attrition or I'm out of here because this is just fucking nuts, right?
yeah.
And I mean, that's that's part of how we win. The other part of how we win is we go to the fucking ballot box. I know that Elon Musk, in my heart of hearts, I know that Elon Musk stole that fucking election for this
Oh
guy,
yeah,
but there's no way we can prove it. I mean, someday we will. Here, this is how petty and childish and stupid this whole group is, right? At some, Trump firing him from Doge and the White House wasn't enough. I mean, it did make him post Trump's all over the Epstein files. Just wait till you see that, right? But that wasn't anything super new. At some point, when Trump pisses this guy off, he's going to go on television back in South Africa or in France or wherever the hell it is where he can't be extradited, and he's going to say, I stole it. Here's how I stole it. I'm sorry. I was wrong.
Yeah, he'll boast. He'll boast
He'll
about it.
boast about how he changed the voting machines or something, or the reporting or whatever it is, right? He will, because he can't not. Because at some point he needs credit for that. Just like he thinks we all believe he invented the electric car or rockets,
Right.
right? He bought into companies that were already doing the thing. So he's going to want to take credit for it. I hope that it happens. I don't know how soon. It might be years from now. It might not happen in my lifetime, but at some point, someone will know that that guy stole the election.
Yeah.
You know,
Um, I've been saying since pretty much 1980 with Reagan and the Christian Coalition and who was that big preacher back then? What was his
Falwell?
name? No, well, him, but Billy Graham.
Oh, Billy Graham. Yeah.
Oy vey. Billy Graham. I've been saying since 1980, you want to save America, abolish the GOP, the Republican Party,
Yeah.
and I channeled my thoughts onto a piece of paper. Number one, your current Republican Party, giant disrespect for the Constitution at every level, right?
Yet they brag about how they love the Constitution. That
Yeah.
cracks me up.
Um, Disrespect for democracy and the rule of law. These are things that they're advertising, folks, blatantly. Um, Damaging economic policy with tariffs and taxes for the uber wealthy.
Yep.
And then a giant number one on the list, disrespect for human rights at every level as well.
All right.
Whether it be ethnicities, lifestyle choices, uh, you know, the imprisoned, the immigrant
Right.
population,
The poor,
disrespect for
just they're
human,
just mad at
the
people for
poor,
being poor.
that too. Yeah. Um,
Jesus.
and did you see that the head guy, which I don't think it was a paying position, but Latinos for Trump, this guy got
Yes.
wrapped up and he's being deported, and
Uh-huh.
he and his wife and the family like, what? That whole FAFO moment,
Right. The leopard
and that's the
eats
thing.
your
It's like,
face.
if you are a person of color and you are not a white, wealthy, conservative male in Trump's world, you are lesser than. And why would you expect him to have your back? And we've seen this whole thing. Hey, Trump voters, we told you this was going to happen. All these things that are happening,
Right.
Jon Stewart, we're talking about the news and not trusting the media. I really think the Daily Show news reporting in its comedic delivery is accurate and brilliant,
Yeah, me too.
and it's a primary news source for me.
Me as well. They report on stuff that the big three don't even touch, which is interesting.
And John Oliver.
I
John
love John
Oliver's turning
Oliver.
into the new 60 Minutes because his format is kind of expose kind of thing.
I,
You know?
I tell everybody, if you got to watch only one thing, John Oliver's it.
Yeah.
Helps
Yeah.
he's a Liverpool guy too, just so you know. He's a
Oh,
huge
yeah.
Liverpool
Well,
fan. But that
yeah.
has nothing to do with it. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
great reporting, in
Yeah.
depth, on target. Yeah,
Yeah.
and funny.
Um, let's see. Next on my list, these cases against Jim Comey, Letitia James, all, unqualified lawyers. And by the way, the lawyer that was doing the Letitia James case, I forget her name, the Fox News blonde
Yeah,
lady.
the
Um,
real estate lady or whatever she
yeah,
was. Yeah,
she was still going to her office every day, even though a judge ruled that she's unqualified and cannot act as her position as an assistant, AG in her district. And she was still going to the
Habib,
office.
whatever.
As of Friday morning, the report I read said the basically the court issued a thing like, you need not come back to your office anymore. You don't work for the federal government. She's not getting a paycheck either. She's been taken off the payroll
Yeah,
because of that. Um, and then there's this professor, small wins here towards the end of our episode here. Small
okay.
wins. Congress rejected Trump's NASA cuts, the war on science,
Yes.
right, by the right.
Yeah. Big one. Yeah.
NASA, who already has 0.001% of the budget,
Right. Might as well be the NEA. Yeah.
you know, that, and then the Letitia James case got uh, a judge disqualified yet another federal prosecutor,
Right.
disqualified them. Like they're
Yes.
not even getting to like the case law yet about
Right.
what they're accusing her of doing, which clearly has no basis in reality. And then this professor who the day after Charlie Kirk got killed posted something on Facebook or whatever, and
Right.
so he gets reinstated by his employer, and they gave him 500 grand as a consolation prize.
Yeah.
Buddy, I hope you put that away for your retirement.
Yeah. That
You
that
know,
to me was a very, very keynote thing as well, I think, in
there,
how
there's
this
a lot
future
of
looks.
there's a lot of like, yeah, Trump bombed downtown, Caracas. Trump did this, Trump did that, and he exercises his uh, grasp wherever he can. But then there's all these other things that he keeps
Right.
pulling L's on with, all of these things where these judges are intervening or these, like
Right.
the National Guard being deployed in Chicago. Never happened, never gonna happen. They
Never
sat in a
gonna.
warehouse for like
Right.
90 days.
Exactly. They just ate up
Um,
tax dollars. And the funding for kids,
yeah,
that was Friday or yesterday. Judge ruled can't can't withhold it. And he was only doing the five, blue states, right? Because
yep,
we're awful,
yep.
you know. And I mean, there are people all over the internet that are going to say, well, just do that wouldn't have got cut because, they're still drinking the Kool-Aid or whatever.
Yeah,
Those people aren't going to go away, but they're
yeah.
going to be quieter again,
Well, I've
you
been
know.
saying, look, everything comes out. The common thread here is the GOP is a hate group,
Yep.
unabashed.
Yeah. No,
Um,
no defense
they're,
for that.
they're
Yeah.
not shy about it.
No,
Um,
they revel in it.
I don't get how. Can you help me understand something? Because,
I don't know. I'm not that smart, but okay.
well, Enrique Tarrio is the head of
Yeah,
the Proud Boys.
sure.
Nick Fuentes
Yep.
is got his thing of
Yep.
craziness.
Sure.
Both these guys have Hispanic names, Latino names,
Yep.
heritage,
Yep.
but they're ardent white supremacists. Help me understand that.
Oh, that's easy. I can do that. Yeah. They're very, very low IQ, which is not a slam. They don't have a sense of self-worth. Their sense of self-worth, which is what Trump counts on, and you can go from them to Miller to Vance, you can go to all of them. I saw this growing up. You probably saw it too, but maybe you weren't around bullies as much as I was. And I saw this as a door guy for fucking ever. Um, Sycophants are going to sycophant, and it against their self-interest always. I used to work with a guy, Larry, and we used to when there were fights, there was always the guy who started the fight, right? Who came at us. He was a tough guy. He was going to beat our ass, whatever. And it's like the bad Tom Cruise movie. There's five of you, but only three of you are going to fight. Two of you will run
Hmm.
because the first one's going to get his ass kicked. The second two will as well, but they're still willing to stand around, right? The second guy is how I put the Proud Boy Kid and Fuentes, right? It's like this. Please don't pick on me. I'll do whatever you say. I I'm on your side, pal. I'm here for you. Don't hate me because I'm Hispanic heritage. Do not hate me because my last name's Fuentes. I will go so far over the top that I will help you beat up Mexicans to prove that I'm on your side. And all I have to do to prove that, to say that this is some sort of weird it's your self-worth is so low and you're not smart enough to get yourself out of it. You just think if you hang out with the strong man, you're going to be okay.
Right.
You think that if your last name is Hispanic, but you hate Hispanics enough, the people in power will like you. And
Right.
as the old trope goes, they'll like you till you help them get rid of all of them. And then when
Yep.
there's none of them left, you're next.
Yeah, you're
And
right.
they don't get that. And how this works is when I was a tour fucking guy at Exit and we had a skinhead problem, the next sentence that's going to come out of my mouth, you're going to think I'm lying, but I am not. After the first skinhead problem came the second skinhead problem, which was black skinheads. And I don't mean the anti-racist ones because there were a lot of those and they were cool, right?
Well, the original skins, yeah, the
I am
sharps.
talking about black skinheads, one of whom had a fucking stars and bars rebel tattoo on his arm, and I love the KKK on the other arm.
Mm,
And not
that's weird.
even passing for not African American, was African fucking American and hated black people.
So
What?
much that he had to wear that imagery.
Tattoos.
Oh,
It's like, what the
yeah.
fuck are you
I
talking
wonder
about?
where that guy is today and what he's, has he evolved or devolved?
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know,
And it's like, why would you do that? It's like, oh, you would do that because you think that the white power dudes that you
yeah.
like so much are going to give you
Get
a
your
pass.
ticket to
And
the
that's what
club.
it comes to.
Yeah.
That's what comes to with these guys. He's going to give me a pass. That's why, um, JD Vance is kind of pissed off his wife isn't a white Catholic, isn't Erica
Yeah.
Kirk, right? They were going to give me a pass. I was going to blend in with these guys. And his isn't because he's Hispanic. His is I went to an Ivy League school and I called you Hitler, but now I want to be on your team.
Right.
Man, I wish my wife was white. Boy, do I wish my wife was white because then they'd like me more.
Yeah.
What?
Well, I hear Erica
What?
Kirk's available, so
She is, and she does wear those pants that look like a couch, so he's probably in. Plus, you saw
yeah.
that hug, right, where she was stroking
Well,
his hair. It's like,
yeah.
come on, dude.
Yeah.
But I mean, I only make fun of Erica Kirk because she uses fireworks to celebrate her husband's death, and people
Yeah.
think she's,
Well,
whatever.
her mourning world tour of mourning continues at an
It
arena near
does.
you,
It does. Yeah.
right?
But so that is and I've said that to people before about Fuentes and Torrio. It's like this guy gladly went to jail as a Proud Boy, spewing white supremacy with dark skin and that name, unironically, because he thought and still thinks being the head of the Proud Boys and being of Hispanic heritage gives him a fucking pass. There is a psychological thing that happens with immigrants it was on 60 Minutes back when 60 Minutes was actual news that I found interesting, and that's how Trump won a lot of the stuff in Florida was I'm here, but I'm not I'm better than those ones coming in now
Right.
is the mentality. And
Oh
that's
yeah.
not just Hispanics,
Yeah.
that's Polish, Irish, it's all of us, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it's been as open as it has been recently because it's with the Hispanic population, no matter what South American or
Yep.
other country you come from. But Cubans that came here 20 years ago hate Cubans that come here now. And that's not
Well,
all,
it's the
but
I don't want anybody to get a free pass on my coattails mentality.
exactly.
I have
And
that in my family.
and yeah, and I have it in my family. And like I said earlier, I got here through murder and fucking mayhem and treason. I do not hold that. I want everybody to have the fucking ticket. Because you know what? We've been talking for an hour about how fucked this country is, but I'm here to tell you, it's still a great country and it can be
Yeah.
better. Look, I say this to some of my friends, and I'm walking a fine line here. You cannot judge Jewish people by what the Israeli government is doing in Gaza. You
Oh yeah.
cannot judge America by what Trump is doing in Venezuela, right?
Right.
You cannot. That is not all of us. Shame on us for letting it get to power. Netanyahu and Trump should be fucking in prison until they croak, and I hope it fucking hurts. And I don't care who knows that.
What
But, you
well,
know,
what bothers me is when I hear people say, "Well, half the country voted for Trump."
right,
And I'll remind everybody once again, ad nauseum, 74 million votes is not half the country.
right. It's
It's a
33%.
lazy statement, and it drives me crazy when people say that.
Right.
And um, when it comes to the Republican Party, I stumbled across the movie the other day. It was like on TNT Cobra with Sylvester Stallone.
Oh my God.
And I watched the whole movie
Oh, I'm sorry.
again, and it's one of those movies where it's got the gratuitous violence and the Stalloneisms and whatever.
Right.
But if you remember that movie, it's in Southern Cali, and it's a bunch of crazies that have a cult, and they're very end of world kind of mentality, and they want to burn it all
Yes.
down. That's
Yeah.
who Cobra is fighting and being attacked by, and he's
Yes.
protecting Brigitte Nielsen in the melee.
Well, like you do. Yeah.
When the credits are rolling, I'm like, oh my God, me and Steve Silver, we're Cobra in this movie.
Yeah.
And those crazies out there trying to blow up the world, that's the GOP. That's
It
that's the
is.
Trump cult, because they are very, let's burn it all down, let's rape and
Right.
pillage, any all rules be damned, all democracy be damned. It's take what you want, get what you want, it's greed at the ultimate, right?
It's greed at the ultimate. And they sell it to some of these people like, I need you to send me to Congress, or I need you to make me the president so I can destroy the government.
Right.
It's like, wait,
Meanwhile, I'm going to destroy you.
meanwhile, I'm going to destroy you, but I'm going to take all the government offers, which is free fucking health care, a pension, and a job for life if I don't fuck up too
Yeah.
bad. Right?
Well,
It's like, what?
the Republican Party since 1980 has pulled the largest con on the American public of any culture in global history.
Yeah.
And, you know, people like you and me have been sitting there the whole night. Hey guys, they're doing this. You Republicans, you're being hoodwinked. And they're like, no, dear leader, dear leader. And,
Yep.
I remember during W's initial campaign and his reelection, and it's whole I'm going to get rid of gay marriage, or
Yeah.
gay everything, and I'm going to ban abortion, and I'm going to codify those in the Constitution. There would be
Yeah.
amendments. They ran on that, and then when he got elected, they never talked about it again.
Not one word.
And the
Other
Republicans
stuff
are
to do.
really good at ginning up the masses.
Yeah, of course they are. Of course. Listen, it's just like we're talking about the kid from the Proud Boys and Fuentes. Listen, I hate who you hate, so I'm going to make them pay, but you're going to be okay.
Right.
I'm gonna make sure that, it's like welfare, right? What is it? 68% of the people on welfare are poor, recognized as white Americans.
Yeah.
But those same poor white Americans think that black Americans or Hispanic Americans are getting over on them.
Yeah.
They're stealing. They're getting something for free that they shouldn't get. But meanwhile, you're getting it. But yeah, but I don't count.
Right.
I'm going to vote for the guy who's going to take it away from them. But what if he takes it away from them? He's got to take it away from you. No, 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 no. He's going to save us. Like you said, Latinos for Trump. He's going to save us. Bye. Enjoy
Yep.
Venezuela. Feel saved
Yeah,
yet?
and it's going to happen again.
Over and over until, like you said, the GOP is regulated to a third party,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
I would like to have happen in our lifetime. It may, this crumbling down, once your leader's gone, this crumbling down could happen pretty fucking quick, right?
yeah. I
You
give it
know,
30
and
days.
and when people say, da, 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 I like to use the analogy of the Manson family, right? Because Charlie Manson was crazy and he convinced everybody to do all that shit, but he never got blood on his hands.
Well, he's smart enough to know not to shoot
Right,
anybody himself.
right. But
He was
meanwhile,
smart enough to know how to manipulate his
right.
underlings
But
and have them do it.
but meanwhile, everybody who did the dirty work is sitting in fucking jail forever, right?
Yeah, they
Think
are.
about that.
Yep.
All right.
I thank you, and
Thank you.
hopefully we can talk again soon. I mean,
Between now and
it's
next week, five
oh my
fucking crazy things will happen. So
yeah.
let's just meet next week.
I hope if the crazy things do happen, they happen to Trump and not from Trump.
That would be awesome.
Um, you know, seeing the video of Maduro and the handcuffs and the blinders on and the whole thing, and seeing people make memes on Reddit of putting Trump's face on that, like seeing Trump goose marched out, bent,
Right.
like they do in Seek Out, where they bend you over with the cuffs on and the
Yeah.
shackles. Oh my God, talk about a fantasy scenario.
Right.
So, but until then, we'll continue pointing out the craziness wherever we can.
We will.
And thank you, and thank you
Thank you.
everybody for watching yet
Thanks,
another
everybody.
episode of us rambling. And let us know what
Shaking
you
our
think in the
clouds.
comments. You can find us both on social media if you ever want to talk.
We're around.
We're gonna have like somebody guest one day so we can pick somebody's brain,
That'd be
you and
cool.
I. So in our in the future, let's talk about if we can um, persuade someone to come on and give us their point of view. There's a few
We're a rough
people.
crowd. We might scare people off.
Yeah.
Who knows? But
Well,
yeah,
there are people that are definitely smarter than you and me that we could probably get their opinions.
100%. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so stay tuned for that. Until then, be safe out there. Thank you again, Steve-O.
Thank you, Steve. See you soon.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.